Hello and welcome to coverage on Dolfinitely Media. We are here at Taylor Mountain Regional Park in Santa Rosa, California. Lead card coverage will feature Team 1, AK, Alaska Stratton, and Snack, Pack, Attack, Orange Speed versus Team 2, Oldall, and myself, Bro&Jerk. I'm joined here live with Bro Sidon on Bro&Jerk commentary. Bro, how's it going today?
Good, Jacob. It's it's great to be back here at the course after taking a little bit of time off. Here at Taylor Mountain, one of the most beautiful disc golf courses in Northern California. It's real great to see some of these guys line up this first throw. Zach looking with the backhand. I'm guessing it's going to be his Star Destroyer, maybe F2. AK also probably looking with the Destroyer. And this backhand line's pretty tight. You can't see, but the pin's going to be way up there. I'd say probably about 410, 415 feet.
Definitely, and the UFOs pushed this pin back location about 80 feet on the hill, and can't really notice it from the coverage, but that is way up on the hill. And this is my shot, throwing with my 4-time Paul Macbeth Destroyer, trying to get a big anhyzer, skip around the tree, and classic myself, just go straight to the thrower. They say the cameras can change a game. It's kind of how I felt on the hole one.
Yeah, we're looking at a tough hole one here. Eric's about 80 feet out, just trying to throw something up towards the pin up top. He's pretty parked. Jacob's gonna really try and go for it. Hooks it a little over on the right hand side on his buzz.
Great throw from Harris.
But we've got two guys that have been playing disc golf and frisbee in general for about 10 years combined. So the other team, AK and Zach, 2 forehand looks here up towards the top of the hill. They're just trying to get something close and just tap in.
Yeah, and on this one, honestly, you can just pick up your disc, feel pretty good about a par, move on to the next hole. That's one of the harder ones in the course to get. Zach's going to go with this high hyzer route, kind of the play on this location. We're kind of looking on a downhill. Hole definitely plays a little bit harder with wind. Can go from a right to left wind, but you're really kind of looking at throwing it to the street and letting it kind of fade towards the basket. Definitely one that you must get.
Yeah, you can see a great throw from AK there, just trying to put it up in that tree branches and just let it fall down next to the pin. Jacob's still working on his backhand. He's traditionally a forehand thrower, but it's nice to see him throw one here and just trying to work on that distance. Eric also, throwing a backhand. Little hyzer on it, so it fades out early, so they're going to be playing Jacobs.
Yeah, and you could probably see that pull right there. There is no Mando on that one. That is just the preferred backhand line to go a little bit right of the pole, and I just cannot believe that. Horrible missed putt. Eric's going to kind of do a little bit of layup. Kind of the benefits working in doubles of being able to run your first one. And as you can see, Team 1 picks up the early bird.
Yeah, AK was just a tap in there after his drive. Here we are, hole 3. This is actually a pretty tight window coming out of that tee pad and pretty far here up on the hill. This first throw from Zach, actually pretty nice. I think they're going to end up using it. Matt's drive, he's also going to throw kind of a wide forehand look and just kind of fade out towards the road there.
Yeah, and that's definitely one of those things that you're trying to avoid. You can get a big skip. There is a lot of rocks up there that I've seen the disc kind of stop, but you're trying to go a little bit high on the hillside and kind of putt down for a 10-foot bird.
So here's Jacob's drive, another forehand. He hits the tree coming on the way out. He was hoping to actually kind of do what AK did and fade a little bit later. Here's Zach's putt, just a little bit short, hitting front iron. That's tough to see. AK also lining up a putt here.
From about 28 out and just missed it a little bit left, but he gave it a run, and good thing they're playing doubles, but that roll down the hill I've seen way too many times. I'm lining up about outside of circle 1, and I get it, and that feels really good to get on the team 2 with a little birdie action, skipping, jumping for joy, picking up my disc, and feeling good about that one.
So here's team 1 tapping in their par. The score is tied up, and it's still early in the round. You're hoping to get another bird. You're hoping to extend the lead. Eric with a nice little backhand getting towards the basket. Jacob's going to throw this really cool forehand route with a nice little flex. It's going to actually catch really late and kind of fade out and skip towards the hill, down the hill.
Yeah, and this is definitely one of those touch shots. You kind of want to do it. It's not really far with the distance, but you do have a little bit of trees that you have to avoid. Definitely one that you kind of want to flex a little bit on an Anheuser route and let it go straight to the basket. Hole 4 is definitely not the easiest birdie, but it definitely feels good to get this one.
Yeah, normally this pin's actually about, I would say, 40 feet to the left of where you see it. So this is actually one of the easier pin positions for this hole. Zach lining up his putt. Again, just a little soft off to the right-hand side. AK with another look here. You know, he's been someone who's been working on his putting. He's a little bit off to the right. But, you know, they're two disc golfers that'll be coming back later in this thing. Jacob, just a little soft. Eric with the nose down and cans it in.
And 2 in a row right there. Just getting 2 birdies. 2 pretty good putts. Feeling pretty good about this one. This is one of the more trickier holes on the course. I'm not going to say it's one of the hardest holes, but it's a blind shot. Kind of over the ridge. You kind of want to hug the ridge on a little bit of a lower line. Eric looks like he's kind of figuring that one out. That will play pretty nicely, just a little bit low. You want to keep it a little bit higher on the ground, but I've definitely seen the shot go. People picking up 5s and 6s going down a hill. I throw a forehand line. I highly don't recommend this one because obviously the fade towards down the hill. But for that one, I'm not feeling too bad. Zach's going to go with his drive, kind of figuring out the shot over time, and this is looking pretty nice, maybe a little bit short. And I want to give a shout out to Bro. I know you're not out there on the course, but you're definitely helping out by the filming. Thanks a lot for that.
Thanks, Jacob. It's definitely good to be out there, at least walking around, and especially just being a part of the disc golf round with you guys. It's good to see the ups and downs. Here you see a big up from AK. This guy's throwing about a 350-foot drive. Jacob lining up his new pure, and boy, that's just pure. He's been, playing a lot of Disc Golf Valley, and that looked just like one of his 80-foot putts in the Valley.
Yeah, definitely got to give a shout out to Latitude on that one, Disc Golf Valley, DGV for short. My code tonight will be 5FJ7, so if you want to join me around a little bit later, make sure to tune in.
And that was a great putt from Zach. That was actually a nice little star frame from both those teams getting birdies on that one.
Yeah, we'll donate $25 to the charity, the UFOs, for that one. So,
shout out to the local disc golf club here, the United Flyers of Sonoma. Some cool throws here from Jacob and Eric. Eric actually going all the way over the top of the tree line. It's a pretty small window to get through this gap here. You're going to see a lot of people play over the tree line. Both Zach and Eric throwing these huge hyzers. Zach just a little bit short. He's been throwing a lot of Ultra Stars lately, so he may need to throw a little bit more disc golf discs. AK is going to try and line this one through. Actually pulls it over and almost ends up hitting me, the cameraman. I'm able to get out of the way here. And they're going to play this from right against the fence. Of course, they're taking their meter rule off, and then they're just going to try and lay up, put something near the basket so they can tap in.
Yeah, and you definitely got to watch out. There is a road a little bit to the right of them that will play OB. I've definitely seen. You can't really notice it on the camera, but it is definitely Taylor Mountain for a reason. We do have some mountains up here, and so little rollways down to the road definitely will cost you a stroke. This is one that we're kind of looking at the edge of circle one, putting downhill. You should probably get this one, so I'm gonna line up on my wizard. That is my SB Wizard. For you guys that are new to the program, that means special blend, and I just miss high. You always want to miss a little bit high on those ones. Little Kaya cameo, that's Kaya Mimosa Stratton. And this is going to be a Mando. So we're going to throw up a hill, about a 280. Mando on the left because of hole 16 going up. So you kind of either want to throw a out there forehand or a little bit flex backhand.
So here you're going to see Jacob's forehand. I mean, this is a perfect forehand hole if you got a nice hyzer forehand. You just let it fade back towards the pin. Zach's going to throw a turnover backhand. really try and ride this ante all the way up to the basket. I think he's using maybe an F2 Leopard here. He's been throwing a lot of F2 plastic, really trying to learn the disc. He's a recent convert from the Ultimate Frisbee game. Here's AK's forehand. This is exactly what you're looking for. Just letting it play and fade right back to the pin. He's going to tap in with the dog in the backpack.
Eric missing that, putting a little bit of pressure on me, so I'm going to take my time a little bit more, put the knee to the ground, line up straight, direct it, and get it. That feels pretty nice, guys. That was a couple in a row, missing the last one, but you know what I mean. -4, -3, up a stroke, going into the next hole. Now this one is tough. This is not looking terribly difficult on the camera, but this is a direct uphill. You got a tree on your left, so you're either going to go a fat hyzer route on the backhand or a little bit of a flex forehand. And you can see Eric with the jeans and the boots throw it pretty long on this one. Lay up a little bit short, and here's Zach for a shot.
Yeah, Zach and Eric are here just trying to throw some backhands and really let them S-curve up. I mean, this is probably about 320 feet uphill, but just the up and down is probably about 200 feet just from where you're starting and where you're ending up uphill. You know, Zach and AK both ended up a little bit short here, so they're going to try and pitch up to the pin, just trying to get something. The pin's actually tucked up between two trees. But once you get up there, it settles pretty nicely. So you just want something that's playable. They're going to use Zach's putt for sure. Actually, I think they're all putting from the same location. Eric tapping in, Jacob's drive. AK is going to tap in Zach's upshot. And here we are. This next hole is actually one of the most challenging holes on the course. You got a lot of downhill. So if you turn something over or you catch an edge and you roll, you have the chance to roll all the way down the hill towards the street. Jacob's going to throw a forehand, hoping it hooks up, but he catches a tree on the way about halfway to the pin. Eric's going to throw a nice little ante backhand and actually lets it flex the whole way, and he's going to get a nice little slide up to the pin up there. AK's also going to throw a little forehand, but he gets caught pretty early there in the brush. Here is Zach. Zach's also going to try and throw a little flex backhand, I believe with his leopard again. He's going to try and turn it over. He gets it quite a bit out there, and he's gonna also hit some brush and end up, but it's definitely within putting range for the pin.
Yeah, I like to call this whole community because you're always trying to look for someone else's disc when they're walking down the hill. So I've definitely been in the situation where I've been looking for people's discs, and you can see Zach shooting that one up. Alaska being able to run this one, so we'll see where he goes from this. Throwing his Luna, Paul Macbeth, and another one bites the dust.
So here's Eric's putt. They're going to tap in a nice little birdie. That's a great shot from Eric, especially to drive it. That's not an easy hole. So here we are. I believe this is hole 10. This is one of the more interesting holes of the course. It actually looks pretty easy. It's only about 250 feet, mostly throwing either mid-ranges or putters. You see Jacobs settling pretty nice. Eric's is going to actually turn and flip and go pretty far down the hill. He's going to have a nice little walk after it. Here's Zach's shot. Zach's throwing, I believe, a McAviar. Shout out to Paul Macbeth. This is going to end up just settling real nice right next to the basket. And then here's AK's shot. I believe he's using a Rock X3. He's going to throw another one that hooks up pretty quick. Almost nails me, the cameraman again. But they'll be picking up and tapping Zach's in.
Yeah, and you can kind of notice on this angle that is an elevated basket. I think by putting the elevated basket, you risk the death putt going down the hill. And Zach, ooh, with the slam dunk, a little bit of foot fault, but we will not count it, folks. And that is a birdie dunk. And this is one of the hardest holes on the course, especially for a medium-sized arm like myself. Shout out to Philo. But on this one, you get a thrower. That's kind of common for me, just trying to get it up there. The wind is always seems to be pushing on your face, even when you don't expect it. Eric's going to go with a little bit more of a anti-skip, and that just looks like it's a little bit short, but getting some distance. And this is definitely one of the harder threes, especially if you're a medium-sized arm. Zach's going to go with his, it looks like his 4-time Paul Macbeth, and he is going to go with a little bit of ante. Looks like it's flexing out a little bit too soon, and that's going to be short, folks. And we're up to kind of Alaska's drive. Definitely studying up of his backhand game of late. And that is a great shot, folks. That's going to flex closer to the basket. Great camera angle, a little fall of flight, and that is about 50 feet, I would say. I'm shooting from about 70 with my new Pure. That is a gold plastic. Misses right. And this is kind of a run situation for Eric. Gonna go for it, but...
So here's AK's putt. They're about 50 feet out, putting uphill. AK just a little short on his putt. He's throwing an XT Nova. He likes those for those mid-range putts. There's Zach. He's throwing another Wizard. Again, a little short. We got both teams just tapping in pars there, just setting it in the basket. Sometimes it's just best to just lay up, especially on those holes that you're playing, 450 feet or so. Here's an interesting hole. You're playing out. If you go long, you're actually going to be out of bounds. I'd say it's about 320 feet or so. Gotta put it around this first big tree. There's actually a second tree way out there. You're aiming for the pin that's right behind this fallen log. It settles in pretty nicely behind that log, so really all you got to do is just throw a hyzer and let it, backhand hyzer, and just let it fade out towards the pin.
Yeah, this is one of those better kind of ace runs on the course. Shout out to Alaska that got an ace recently. Disc is still out there in Stafford, so if anyone sees a signed disc by four homies, please call Alaska Stratton.
So here we've got Jacob looking for another birdie putt. He's heading in with his Pure, his Gold Edition. He has been hyping up this disc lately. He really loves how this thing has a little bit of extra glide. He's just a little bit short. He needs some extra glide on that one if he's really trying to get that putt. So here's Zach. They're tapping in a nice little birdie here, like I said, right next to that fallen log. Eric's going to tap in that nice little par from Jacob's. So we actually have Jacob and Eric leading by 2 strokes here, but now we have AK and Zach are taking the pad. AK is going to throw a backhand, try and let it flex out, but fades a little too early. He's going to end up, I believe, out of bounds. Here we have Zach. Zach's also going to throw a backhand. He's going to end up pretty wide, so he'll stay in bounds, and then they'll be playing that shot for their par.
Yeah, this is definitely a difficult hole on the course. It's not for the distance, but there is an OB on your left. And so a lot of times in Taylor Mountain, that wind will be coming towards your face and either want to push the disc down or to the left. You can kind of notice that on our little golden weeds on the bottom. I'm not a plant expert, so I'm not the weed expert. But I will let you know that little wind going in your face.
So here we got AK with a sizable putt. He's actually going to try and run this one. Here's Zach. Zach's putting with his Wizard. He's going to give this one a look. But yeah, these guys are just trying to get something close to the basket here. Here we have Eric, who's actually had a pretty good luck here. Jacob's drive ending up right next to the fence, still in bounds. Really looking for, some help here. Jacob, they're probably about 40 feet out, looking for another one with his Wizard and just a bit short.
And I cannot believe it right now. I take off my hat, sponsored by Nova Discs, throw it in the air, and Eric cannot believe it. That's kind of where the positivity kind of ended. Eric was kind of done with his 2 Miller High Life. Shout out to the High Lifes. But he was kind of out on that one. I'm offering him some seeds to cheer him up, and you can see in the background I just get denied.
So this is an interesting hole. I'd say this is probably about 450 feet. You're going uphill. You got to make it over the ridge. And once you get to that ridge, you're probably still another 80 feet or so out. So here we've got a couple different lines. You got a backhand and hyzer line from the first couple guys. Jacob's going to be the, I think, only one who throws a forehand here. He's also going to try and flex one out. Both these guys ended up a little bit left, and they're going to be coming out of the trenches. Jacob's just going to try and throw, I believe, a gator close to the basket here, and he's just trying to let that thing settle next to the basket. Eric's going to try and give it some sort of a run. I think he was looking at a scuba, maybe a hammer. I think he decided on a hammer, and just just like some ultimate throws, just turfed it.
Yeah, there's definitely some bones he was chewing on that one, but Zach's going to go up a little bit on that, kind of throwing more of a layup. This is one of those more difficult holes on the course. I would say it probably plays as the third hardest hole on the course. But he's going to throw his little Warden. He's going to go up to it, and he is going to make that, folks. Not bad picking up a par on this one. As you can see, par, and Kaya is just hanging out. This one is across the gap. It's hole number 15 on the course. And you kind of want to just throw it a little bit low and let it roll up the hill. You see those trees on the right and left, and Zach does the classic backhand. And Alaska is going to throw a gem of a throw right here. Flex everything just a little bit high on the hill. And Eric's going to throw. He's definitely known to do some tree work on the first couple ones, as you can see right there. And I'm just going to go low, try and let it skip out, try and be within circle one. A lot of pump fakes on this one. Getting a little bit nervous, as you can see the rounds getting in. And that is just going to go straight into the tree. One of my common mistakes.
Yeah, I think Jacob is throwing a Steve Brinster there. I've seen him park that disc. He's looking at more of a Alaska line. He wants to get that thing to flex up. I believe he's throwing another gator, try and get that thing settled next to the basket. Here's Eric coming out of there. Ends up a little short, hitting the trees on the way out. AK's birdie look here. He's just going to try and tap this one in. And they're going to actually look to get closer. There's a shout out to Eric right there.
Yeah, he's looking behind himself too. Looking for the camera. Makes it. But that is a big stroke to get on the card right there, folks. That is definitely one that you want playing one of the more easier holes on the course. And I got to say, this is a beast of a hole. Now that the basket got moved back about 30 feet, doesn't sound like the longest amount. But with the angle, I mean, honestly, Eagle McMahon, shout out to you. Shout out to Simon. Over the top is probably your best option, but you're going to need a heck of an arm to get that. So the more traditional play is kind of rolling up on the hill, getting yourself within circle two, about 50 feet, trying to go in for that birdie.
Yeah, both these teams looking for something on the Anheuser side to get you as close to that basket as you can. As you see, these two teams ending a little bit short. Both AK and Zach just throwing something up close to the basket. Jacob again looking with his pure. Here he's found a disc that he's really starting to trust. He's putting a lot of these birdie looks close to the basket. Eric, of course, just going up for it because it's dubs, and then both these teams just tapping out to go into hole 17.
And going into hole 17, you can see Team 2 has a demanding one-stroke lead, but this is where you can all play down to this, guys. This is an island hole. Kind of hard to see on the island from the angle of our camera one. But you kind of want to flex it out. Kind of go hyzer route to kind of spike into the island. And as you can see, Alaska, it's kind of that. It's not about the arm speed. It's just about the finesse touch. Definitely a more difficult hole. You're kind of birdieing or bogeying. They call it birdogey, and Eric is just losing it on the OB.
Yeah, Eric's going to throw his XT Nova. Instead of just playing it real hyzer and letting it fade the whole way, he actually grip locks it and turns it a little over on the outside. Jacob going to his buzz. He does the same thing. Both these guys just a little too much wrist on it. Not just, letting it fade the whole way, just a little too much. Of course, they're playing from the drop zone. Eric's going to throw his Atlas towards the basket. Jacob's going to throw his Gator. You have these two guys just hoping at this point that they can try and get one back on 18. There's not a lot of course left for them.
Yeah, and going to this hole, you kind of feel like you need to be in that island to at least give your chance for a par. As you can see that we lost 2 strokes going into hole 18. And 18, guys, if you don't have the arm to do it, guys and girls, if you don't have the arm to do it, you're not going to be able to be successful because this is a launch. Shout out to my boy Dante from Russian River Brewery. I actually saw him get within circle one, but beside that, it's a tough get.
Yeah, there's not too many arms here in Sonoma County or even Northern California that have this launch. This is probably about 450 feet. It's another probably 150 just past that ridge line that you see. You got a couple of these guys just trying to ante one out. Jacob going to his 4-time Paul Macbeth Destroyer. He's going to put an ante out. Here's Zach on their upshot. They're just trying to get something close to the basket so they could tap in for par and hold on to their lead. Him and AK both throwing upshots. AK throwing his Luna, just trying to get something close to the basket. He's got that one a little bit far out. Jacob has to get this birdie right here to tie. Gives it a little kiss action. Probably the most action that he's gotten all quarantine. He's gonna go with his pure just a little bit short. Puts it pretty good pretty good anti-flip towards the basket.
Yeah, and I'm going to give this opportunity to give a shout out to our sponsors, Latitude 64, Dynamic Disc, Innova Disc, Discraft, MVP, Gateway Discs. Shout out to all of our sponsors.
Tell us a little bit about you guys' round, making a comeback on the last 9. Tell us what you really brought to this round today.
Brought my dog. No, it was tough when they got out to 7-2 lead, I think is what they started off. We just kept knocking them out second half.
Get the spirits up. You know, when it's a little downhill, you gotta throw it up higher. So, you know, we finished pretty strong. I'm pretty proud of ourselves. I myself wasn't playing my best, but luckily we got this guy over here, this pup. Definitely kept it interesting.
Hell yeah. Cheers, winners.
Look at it.
All right, losers, tell us what happened.
We had them in the first half, not gonna lie, but I think the key was, honestly, Eric had 2 beers and they were gone after a whole 9, and after that it was a +1 through the back 9. I didn't really help out. We missed hole 17, the island. They played strong in the end.
Eric, how was your partner today?
Well,
how tough is it playing with Jacob Harris as your partner?
You know, it's an emotional roller coaster. I came out here, told him we're keeping the positive vibes, and you know, after those beers ran out, it was real hard to keep up with them. I just couldn't keep them positive, and I don't know what it is, but yeah, Miller High Life. I just need more. That's all it is. So.
All right, you guys, what are you gonna do?
We're trying to leave, guys.